All right, we're gonna go to this. Somebody sent me this email, this link about cops who forget there were cameras on in the police station. Okay, that's another reaction video, but this reaction video, it's gonna be a little bit funny because there's a lot of things that go, a lot of shenanigans that go behind the scenes, especially when it comes to law and police and all that stuff. But this video is pretty wild. But anyway, let's check it out. This is gonna be another reaction video. Thanks for watching today. LA Ent.T.V podcast. Don't forget to hit me up on my Spotify, LinkedIn, BumpTube, Instagram, and all that good stuff. But let's check this out because there's one thing that's good and bad about the cameras. Good because if you want to prove yourself innocent, the cameras will say so if you're innocent or not, and if you did a dirty deed or you did something that you're not supposed to, and they catch it on film. But in this case, these are cops getting caught. Oh man! And anyway, let's just check it out because this is going to be a good one. Check it out.
As we uncover cops who forgot there were cameras in the police station.
There you go. Gotcha.
Rachel Wilson. She thought no one was watching, but the cameras at HMP Addywell caught it all. Rachel Wilson's story is one you won't believe.
Unbelievable.
Her short career at HMP Addywell ended abruptly when her inappropriate behavior was caught on camera. The actions of the young prison officer inside the privately operated Scottish facility sent shockwaves throughout the correctional system, serving as a harsh reminder of the consequences that come with crossing professional boundaries. Wilson had just started her job and was still in her probationary period during the spring when she became involved in a scandal that would define her career. Her relationship with inmate Kevin Hogg, who was serving a 3-year sentence for traffic offenses, shifted from purely professional to much more compromising. The incriminating evidence came in the form of a 79-second video,
79
carefully
seconds.
planned and executed by Hogg himself. In the footage, we see his cell, a white-walled room where he had strategically placed the
Pretty nice looking room for a cell.
on a shelf facing the door. His actions, including a quick sip of water, indicated that he had premeditated what would happen next.
Wait a minute. Didn't you tell me there's a... Okay, this must be a pretty good cell, or... The cell looks like a room, and he's allowed to have cameras in there? So, I don't get it. But anyway, let's move on, but I don't know what kind of cell this is, so... But anyway, let's check it out.
It shows Wilson appearing at the cell door, engaging in whispered conversation with Hogg before giving in to a passionate kiss.
Oh my
Hogg's
God.
comment after their encounter, "That's what I wanted," would later spark intense speculation about his motivations and the power dynamics at play. The footage quickly spread throughout the prison system, reaching facilities across Scotland, including Barlinnie in Glasgow. Prison insiders revealed that Hogg's main motivation was to gain bragging rights among fellow inmates.
It's usually the case.
A goal that would have devastating consequences for Wilson's career. At first, there were theories suggesting...
Well, you figure, okay, you got a bunch of men there, right? Testosterone's up, you're locked in jail, all you see is dudes. Guys will be guys, man. They get a little horny, right? So... And hey, women get horny too, so let's call a spade here. But in this case, this guy's a prisoner, and who's actually locked up in a pretty nice place. I don't know what's up with these places in jails, but they look like they're in a room, nice comfortable apartment room. But anyway, bragging rights, basically saying, hey, I bet you I could get this bride or something like that. So. This security guard, I don't know, what would a woman do that to risk her job, her career, for just making out with some cellmate, and then there you go, you can't, the girls allow you can't get into the business, you're into the law world or job Because what? You wanted one night stand with an inmate? You know what I mean? Damn. But anyway, check it out.
Wilson might have been blackmailed, but these were soon dismissed. A source within the prison pointed out an important detail. If this was an unwanted approach, she could have pressed her panic button, but she didn't, confirming her willing participation in the encounter. The fallout was swift and severe. The administration at HMP Addywell took immediate action by terminating Wilson's employment. The incident also triggered a larger investigation into security protocols and staff conduct within the facility, leading to increased monitoring measures and stricter enforcement of professional boundaries. As Wilson faces the fallout of her actions, Davis's story uncovers a hidden underground system that challenges the integrity of the entire facility.
Oh, I guess.
Emily Davis. The walls of Riverbend Maximum Security Institution in Tennessee became the backdrop for a troubling tale of misconduct that would forever alter the trajectory of 22-year-old correctional officer Emily Davis's life.
Oh my God.
In 2019, Davis's youthful inexperience led her down a path that transformed her from law enforcer to lawbreaker. Unlike many similar cases, Davis's improper relationship with an inmate initially flew under the radar. The discovery came during a broader investigation by the Tennessee Department of Corrections into suspected contraband smuggling.
Well, you figure, I'll just stop there for a second. You figure the security officers who happen to be a female, blonde, not bad looking, a little bit hefty on the side, but I could understand why they get tempted. Yeah, you know, everybody in jail is a dude, is a guy. That's why I don't think women should be law enforcers inside a man's cell, because that happens. You know, a woman will get tempted. A guy's gonna schmooze her, is gonna like tempt her. You know, with whatever he's got besides his pants, and say, you know what I mean. And she's gonna take that offer. Obviously, she did when you get tempted like that. So obviously, in the back of her mind, maybe something's not happening between her and her boyfriend or husband, and she gets something else with this guy. But it's gonna risk her job, her career, her livelihood, and then she'll get put in jail herself. You know. Anyway, I'm just saying.
Facility. What investigators uncovered was far more shocking than anticipated. The investigation revealed an underground communication network where correctional officers passed handwritten notes to inmates through cell bottoms alongside food trays.
Wow.
One such intercepted letter would prove Davis's undoing. Written under her middle and maiden names, Dawn Adams, the letter contained explicit details of a sexual encounter with an inmate on May 2nd, 2019. Even more startling was Davis's mention of a possible pregnancy resulting from the liaison.
Oh my gosh,
The case broke wide
that could
open
be
on
some
June
serious
1st,
problems right there.
2019, when investigators questioned the involved inmate.
Man, at least wrap up or take some kind of precaution if you're gonna get pregnant with an inmate. Ladies, one-on-one, tell them to wear a condom or get on a pill or something, because that's going to happen unless you want it to happen. So, I don't know. That is just another ball of wax. It's just craziness how a woman in her freaking mind could do that. All right? Goes to show they're not as innocent as you think they really are, because the flesh is weak, my friends. Yes, it is.
He admitted to 2 separate sexual encounters with Davis, providing damning testimony that led to her immediate arrest. The charges were sexual contact with an inmate, a felony offense that carried serious implications for her future in law enforcement.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The aftermath of Davis's arrest presents a curious gap in the judicial record. Following her release on bail, public records fall silent, on her ultimate fate. The absence of sentencing information or jail time documentation leaves questions unanswered about the final consequences of her actions. As Davis's story fades into uncertainty, the Next Cop's case provides a vivid reminder that some breaches of trust are planned down to the last detail. Charlene Diane O'Banion. From blind spots to bold decisions, Charlene O'Banion's story shows how a single misstep can ripple through...
Okay. I could understand, okay? These security officers or these law enforcers who are behind the scene working in a man's jail, like I said, front, you look good, blonde, cute, a little lower, hefty side, get a little oomph on the side, and, guys will be guys, gonna get horny. And obviously she felt the same way too, and she got schmoozed by a schmoozer, and this happens, so anyway.
Entire institution, Montgomery County Jail, witnessed an unsettling breach of trust when 33-year-old correctional officer Charlene Diane O'Banion orchestrated an intimate encounter with inmate Jacob Parker. The incident, captured through surveillance and phone recordings, sent shockwaves through Texas law enforcement circles. O'Banion's calculated scheme began with a strategic alert about alleged drug activities in a specific housing unit. Her report prompted the removal of contract workers and cleaners, creating an opportunity for inmates to volunteer for cleaning duties. The unit's sparse population and numerous CCTV blind spots created the perfect environment for her planned rendezvous with 28-year-old Parker. The young inmate, known for his defiant attitude toward authority, had developed an unusual rapport with O'Banion. Their relationship raised suspicions among staff members who noticed Parker's uncharacteristic compliance when dealing with her. Their concerns proved justified when surveillance footage...
Now look what happens now. Now she's an inmate herself. Okay, now how does that benefit? How does that, just because you want to get your freak on with some inmate, and now you're part of the system now, and then, like, you gotta wake up there, ladies, Desperate time, desperate measures, yeah, but you want a little piece inside? Why would you want to do it in work? You know what I mean? That doesn't make sense. But it does make a lot of sense to them at that time, but look what happens. You just ruined your whole career, your whole life. So...
revealed their November 17th, 2021 encounter. A recorded phone conversation between O'Banion and Parker later exposed explicit details of their liaison. What do you mean? You probably got this weird swing hanging from the ceiling. If I had that swing, you better believe I'd leave that sucker up for you. The dialogue, filled with intimate details and suggestive banter, became damning evidence in the subsequent investigation. O'Banion initially denied any improper conduct, but faced with the recorded evidence, she admitted to engaging in sexual activities with Parker. The scandal prompted Montgomery County Jail to implement stricter monitoring protocols, like the installation of additional surveillance cameras in previously identified blind spots and enhanced staff rotation schedules. O'Banion's guilty plea to improper sexual activity with a person in custody resulted in a 100-day jail sentence. As O'Banion faced the consequences,
at least she's not there for life, but
misconduct,
better than
the story of the Next Cop
she deserves it.
Exposes a shocking abuse of authority over a vulnerable minor.
Okay, so 100 days, not too bad. She does deserve it because you do the deed, you do the time, you do the crime, you gotta do the time. So, okay, 100 days, to get her senses bearings back, and then she'll never work in that law enforcement ever. Like I said, women should not work in a man's facility because that right there will happen. Duh. Okay. Whoever created that, just damn stupid. Okay, men think a lot different than women as well too. But when it comes to sex and the weak of the flesh, it's the same thing. Temptations, buddy. You know what I mean? Once you get your noodle wet, you're gonna do anything you can to get that person. Especially coming from a guy and who's got evil deeds, evil intentions, on a woman who's weak and vulnerable like that. Bingo. I'm just saying.
Caitlin Gomez. A shocking discovery at the Pinellas Regional Juvenile Detention Center unveiled a disturbing case of abuse of power and betrayal of trust. Staff members conducting routine checks uncovered 10 handwritten letters hidden within a 16-year-old inmate's bed. Letters that would spark an intense internal investigation and lead to the downfall of Sergeant Caitlin Gomez. The contents of these letters depict manipulation and inappropriate conduct. Each page detailed explicit descriptions of planned sexual encounters between Gomez and the young inmate, alongside romantic declarations and future plans. These weren't mere fantasy writings. They represented a calculated grooming attempt by someone sworn to protect vulnerable youth. Hired on January 5th, 2024, Gomez's tenure as sergeant lasted mere weeks before her true actions came to light. Despite strict protocols prohibiting one-on-one interactions with juveniles, security footage revealed multiple instances of Gomez isolating herself with the teenage...
I don't know if that's the right footage or if they're giving you the right footage, but this girl is young. She looks like about 23. And she's amongst men who are testosterone of like 100%. They're going to see a good-looking girl or a good-looking police officer. Damn right those guys are going to do something, to get her juices flowing and tempted to do the dirty deed. And look what happens. They do it. So that, for instance, is, like I said, you can't put women in a men's prison and think nothing's going to happen and thinking it's going to be okay, because it isn't.
Her fellow officers noted these red flags, yet the depth of her misconduct remained hidden until the discovery of those damning letters. The investigation uncovered additional evidence. A photograph of Gomez found in the inmate's cell.
Wow.
This physical token of their illicit relationship served as another piece in the mounting case against her. When confronted by investigators, Gomez crumbled under questioning, admitting to authoring the letters and harboring inappropriate feelings for the teen. Her confession reveals that she had deliberately sought opportunities to be alone with the inmate and fantasized about building a life with him after his release. The Pinellas County Sheriff's Office acted swiftly. Gomez was immediately terminated from her position.
Well, obviously, yeah, of course. She got arrested. There you go.
Of a child to engage in sexual battery by a person in familial or custodial authority. She was booked into the same system she once worked for, the Pinellas County Jail. Just when it seemed the stories couldn't get more complex, the next policewoman's tangled relationships with inmates
unbelievable
brought a shocking new dimension to these scandals. Melissa Goodwin.
Love Triangle. Damn.
Silverwater Metropolitan
There you go.
Center unfolded in ways no one could have predicted. Melissa Goodwin, a 26-year-old corrections officer, found herself entangled between two inmates.
Okay, this Melissa Goodwin she looks really good. Physically looks and body-wise looks. So that right there is a recipe for misdeeds and, obviously, things going to happen, and this is what's going to happen, and this is the end of the road for her. Oh my God.
One current and one former in a scandal that would rock the prison system. The surveillance cameras at Silverwater captured an intricate web of deception. Between December 2019 and April 2020, Goodwin allegedly performed intimate acts with inmate Corey London at least 5 times monthly
Oh my
in a
God.
facility storeroom.
Look at that.
These encounters might have remained secret, if not for her simultaneous relationship with Caleb Valerie, a former inmate and regional leader of the Rebels Outlaw motorcycle gang.
What?
CCTV footage revealed Goodwin and Valerie's suspicious movements throughout the facility. Their rendezvous raised red flags among prison authorities,
Oh my
leading
God.
to an investigation that uncovered far more than expected. The discovery of contraband, cigarettes, chewing gum, and a cell phone pointed to Goodwin's involvement in smuggling operations.
Look at that, for instance. Look at that. She's a freaking security. Look at her. She's got tattoos on her neck that exudes guilty. Like I'm, you know what I'm saying? Holy cow! If you can't see that, whoever hired her, man, holy cow, he should be fired.
A handwritten letter found in London's cell painted a vivid picture of Goodwin's emotional state. Miss you heaps. If only you were out before Valentine's Day. I don't know if you truly understand the risks and consequences I'm taking for you. I hope I'm right this time. The case took a dark turn when London was brutally attacked in his prison cell. Prosecutors believed members of Valerie's gang orchestrated the assault to prevent London's testimony. Their tactics proved effective. When London took the witness stand, he remained silent, earning himself a contempt charge. Without London's testimony, prosecutors struggled to prove the full extent of Goodwin's misconduct. She ultimately pleaded guilty to a single count of engaging in a relationship with an inmate.
Good.
Her punishment
Lock her up.
was a 12-month community corrections.
That's it, 12 months?
100 hours of community service.
Oh my God.
Today, Goodwin has reinvented herself as an Instagram fitness influencer.
Okay.
While London remains behind bars.
Well, there you go. At least you put something positive.
Consequences of their shared indiscretions.
Okay, at least she put her negativity back and she put her life together, and now she's a fitness influencer. That's a good positive thing. Instead of exerting that unnecessary, heinous behavior. And if you're a law enforcement, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on.
While Goodwin reinvented herself after her scandal,
Good for her.
The next cop's story adds a new layer to these breaches of trust within correctional facilities. Shania Begum.
Damn, she's Begum.
The walls of HMP Birmingham Prison held dark secrets behind their concrete facade. In January 2024, these secrets came tumbling out as 25-year-old correctional officer Shania Begum. Okay,
Shania Begum looks like a Shania Begum is right. She's like Begum. She's kind of hideous. They should put more girls like that there so they won't be attracted to the male species and say, you know what I'm saying? You know, put a little Miss Piggy behind the scene. Fucking, there's a lot of chubby chasers. I'm just saying, you know, I'm just kidding. I'm playing a joke.
Wrong side of the law.
Yeah, you can put more hideous people. You know what I'm saying?
22, when she developed an inappropriate relationship with inmate Joshua Mullings.
Oh, jeez.
What started as friendly interactions soon spiraled into something far more serious. As Mullings' supervising officer, Begum wielded considerable influence over his daily routine, particularly his cleaning duties in the facility's storeroom. Her suspicious behavior didn't go unnoticed by her colleagues. Fellow officers observed how Begum consistently assigned Mullings to storeroom duty, an unusual pattern that raised red flags. Their mounting concerns triggered an internal investigation that would expose the true nature of their relationship. On September 22, 2022, investigators installed hidden cameras in the storeroom. The footage captured between September 22nd and 29th revealed multiple encounters between Begum and Mullings, leaving no doubt about their intimate relationship. During these rendezvous, Begum would deliberately switch off her radio, ignoring calls from other officers for hours at a time. The investigation expanded beyond the surveillance footage. A search of Begum's phone unveiled internet searches about Mulling's criminal history and personal life
Look at that
before
face.
his incarceration. These digital breadcrumbs painted a picture of her growing obsession with the inmate. In court, Begum's defense team attempted to portray her as a victim of circumstance, claiming she was vulnerable due to family pressure to get married. Her attorney argued that Mullings had exploited this vulnerability. The prosecution dismissed this defense as ridiculous, presenting evidence of Begum's deliberate actions in pursuing the relationship. The presiding judge delivered a scathing assessment before sentencing. You and him repeatedly spent time together in that store cupboard to be physically intimate up to and including penetrative physical acts. You were observed engaging in consensual activity whilst on duty. The consequences were swift and severe. Begum lost her position at HMP Birmingham and received a 16-month prison sentence. Her story became another chapter in the growing list of officers whose careers ended after forgetting or choosing to ignore the watchful eyes of prison security cameras. Just as the dust began to settle on Begum's scandal, another female cop's actions at Wetherby turned heads in the justice system. Jordan Traynor. The Wetherby Young Offenders...
Jordan Traynor.
A prison for young offenders seemed like a place where secrets were kept hidden behind its strong walls. But one of its staff members, Jordan Traynor, a married prison officer from Wakefield, West Yorkshire, managed to shake things up in the criminal justice system with her inappropriate relationships with two 17-year-old inmates. Traynor's journey into wrongdoing began with innocent flirting. What seemed harmless at first quickly turned into a series of scandalous interactions. She boldly sent sexual messages to the first inmate, fully aware that he had an illegal mobile phone. To make matters worse, she even printed explicit pictures of herself while at work and handed them directly to the young offender.
Oh my God.
As time went on,
We just said she took pictures of herself, probably taking pictures of maybe in lingerie, I don't know, but and handed to him. Oh my God. Oh jeez. That's craziness.
Traynor's misconduct grew larger. She started smuggling various packages into the prison.
Yeah, contraband.
including Suspected phones.
Jesus.
Not just for her main contact, but also for other inmates upon his request. Her behavior became more reckless when she began a second inappropriate relationship with another 17-year-old inmate.
What?
This second relationship crossed physical limits on 3 separate occasions.
Oh my God, this girl's a predator, man. She's freaking working at the jail system. That is insane.
Traynor allowed inappropriate touching without any objections or reports. In order to maintain these forbidden connections, she frequently requested shift swaps to be closer to her chosen inmates. The truth came out through searches conducted in their cells, as both inmates had Traynor's personal mobile number, and the first inmate still possessed 2 explicit photographs, while the second inmate had 3 mobile phones in his possession.
I don't know about those phones. Look like they're ancient. These phones are probably back in the early 2000s because they didn't have, the Nokias. They're like back in the early 2000s, so this must be a little bit older
When
footage.
Traynor was suspended from work, her desperate efforts to keep in touch backfired completely. She sent messages to the second inmate saying, "I will not see you again, now I've been suspended," completely unaware that his phone had been taken away. During her interview on January 25th, 2020, Traynor tried to shift blame onto the first inmate by claiming he had blackmailed her. However, prosecutors dismissed this defense and pointed out that she had admitted enjoying the attention. Her defense team brought up personal struggles such as feeling rejected by her husband and recently being diagnosed with borderline personality disorder.
Okay, did I just say the last? Being rejected by her husband. Okay, 101. Obviously, the marriage is not working. The husband is not finding you attractive, or probably finds you hideous because you're probably eating that freaking hot dog and that sausage in front of him, or eating that freaking bonbon, being depressed, right? Instead of going to the gym, working out and on yourself, taking care of yourself. That's probably why. And what do? You go to work where you're a bunch of men who just want to bang you. You know, treat you like a piece of meat. Oh, man, that's craziness. Oh, what am I doing here? Okay, wait a minute. Yeah, my light falling off her. Yeah.
The Leeds Crown Court showed little sympathy for these circumstances. Despite moving from Feltham Young Offenders Institution in London to Yorkshire for her husband's job, her actions deserved serious punishment. The judge sentenced her to 18 months in prison. As Traynor faced the harsh reality of her actions, the story of another cop shows how even the most respected officers can fall from grace in devastating ways. Gemma Cowperthwaite. What happens when kindness crosses professional boundaries? Cowperthwaite's story reveals the devastating consequences. The halls of the St. Clair County Sheriff's Office once echoed with the footsteps of Gemma Cowperthwaite, a correctional officer known for her professionalism and dedication. She stood out among her peers and was admired by her colleagues until everything changed in July 2014. An unexpected meeting with an inmate who had 9 felony convictions, mostly for fraud, sparked an unlikely connection that would lead to a scandal ending her career. Despite the inmate's criminal history raising concerns, Cowperthwaite found herself getting personally involved in a way that crossed professional boundaries. What started as innocent conversations turned into risky territory when Cowperthwaite agreed to share her personal contact information with the inmate. Before long, phone calls became frequent, and requests for favors increased. Cowperthwaite's judgment, clouded by what she saw as acts of kindness, led her to offer rides to work and allow the inmate to use her home facilities during lunch breaks. The situation took a dramatic turn when allegations of sexual assault surfaced. While Cowperthwaite firmly denied any sexual involvement...
First of all, what the hell are they doing hugging in the middle of the cafeteria or wherever they're at when there's cameras everywhere at the corner? Whether she didn't really care about what's going on, or she already knew that they're going to get recorded, or she just didn't care about her job anymore. The whole situation just kind of like crimming herself. Like she didn't care about herself, her job, her career. Just saying.
Evidence pointed in another direction. On April 18th, 2015, an internal investigation revealed disturbing details about encounters happening at Cowperthwaite's residence during the inmate's work release period. The findings from the investigation resulted in Cowperthwaite being placed on administrative leave immediately and later terminated. Criminal charges soon followed, with authorities issuing an arrest warrant on April 24th. The seriousness of her actions led to charges of second-degree criminal sexual conduct, a felony carrying severe penalties. Facing the possibility of a long prison sentence, Cowperthwaite accepted a plea deal, admitting guilt to sexual assault with intent to commit penetration. Judge Daniel Kelly sentenced her on July 6, 2015, which included 10 months in jail and 4 months suspended upon payment of fines. While serving time behind bars, Cowperthwaite maintained that she had been manipulated and called the relationship her greatest regret in life. Just when you think it couldn't get worse, the next cop's actions take professional misconduct to an entirely new level of controversy. Kawana Jenkins. Caught on camera. Jenkins' explicit misconduct wasn't just a betrayal, it was a scandal that shook the Fulton County Jail to its core. A routine search at Fulton County Jail uncovered a scandal that would shake the correctional facility to its core. During a thorough cell search designed to maintain security and order, officers found a contraband cell phone, but what they discovered on it was even more damaging. Hidden within the phone's storage was an explicit video featuring 36-year-old detention officer Kawana Jenkins.
What? Oh my
showed Jenkins,
God.
Dressed in her uniform,
That's insane.
Seated in one of the facility's offices, engaging in a lewd act with an
Oh,
inmate's
wow.
finger. This brief...
My God, dude, I gotta stop that. Can you believe that? Whether she knew that she was being recorded out or she looked like she was high, because she definitely looked like she was high. Why would you even do that when you know there's cameras everywhere inside the room? So obviously something going on, so I'm saying, man, some weird dudes, some weird acts they do, especially when they ruin their careers. It's women, man, I don't know what's going on.
Damning evidence prompted an immediate internal investigation that uncovered a pattern of inappropriate behavior. The inmate involved was quickly identified through distinctive tattoos visible in the recording.
God.
Further investigation revealed that Jenkins had developed an ongoing relationship with the prisoner, showering him with expensive gifts, including a pair of Cartier glasses. This blatant abuse of power and breach of professional boundaries sent shockwaves through the correctional system. Sheriff Pat Labar addressed the situation directly in a press conference. As Sheriff of Fulton County, I am committed to transparency and to holding every employee accountable to the oath they have taken to protect and serve our community.
Yep.
The actions of this one individual are certainly not a reflection of the men and women of the Fulton County Sheriff's Office. The consequences for Jenkins were swift and severe. The administration terminated her employment immediately upon confirming the video's authenticity. Criminal charges followed, including improper sexual contact with an inmate, multiple violations of oath, and introduction of contraband into a correctional facility.
That is insane.
As the fallout
That's crazy.
of Jenkins' actions unraveled, another correctional officer found herself embroiled in a scandal that would tarnish her promising career. Imari Waller. From trust to betrayal. Waller's shocking actions at a juvenile facility revealed a scandal no one expected. A shocking case of misconduct unfolded at the Adobe Mountain School in Phoenix, where 25-year-old correctional officer Imari Waller's career came crashing down in a scandal that rocked the Arizona Department of Juvenile Corrections. Waller's position at the juvenile facility began promisingly in January 2019. Her role involved supervising young offenders, a responsibility that demanded the highest ethical standards. The trust placed in her quickly eroded through her actions.
Okay, there you go. Juvenile young offenders. Beep, beep. Right there's a dead ringer, man. When you got women, especially in their state of mind, when nothing's going well in their relationship at home, they go back to work and there's got some young kid, young, dumb, want to get with somebody a little bit with more authority, and that's a lot of power. If you can change and manipulate or anybody in that position, especially if it's a female and she's not bad looking, that's like a bonus, like a check mark on the bed frame. That's pretty much it. So you can have bragging rights for all your crew at work or in that area to say, yeah, I got with a police officer, and you know what I mean. It's just the way it is.
With an 18-year-old former inmate living in a residential home for juvenile offenders. The illicit relationship surfaced when a vigilant fellow corrections officer discovered explicit Snapchat messages
Oh my God,
between Waller
Snapchats.
and the young man.
Jesus.
These messages offered a vivid picture of an inappropriate relationship that had developed over several months. The discovery triggered an immediate investigation, revealing a series of misconduct that went far beyond digital communication.
That is absolutely
A
insane.
special investigator's visit to the former inmate's group home in Phoenix yielded damning confessions. The young man admitted to sexual encounters with Waller, while a parole search of his room uncovered nude photos and videos of the correctional officer stored on his cell phone. The evidence mounted as investigators examined Waller's phone, revealing multiple explicit exchanges between the pair. During questioning, Waller attempted to orchestrate a cover-up that would only deepen her legal troubles. She smuggled an Apple Watch into the interview room and, during a bathroom break, used it to contact her roommate. Her desperate message instructed the roommate to tell the former inmate to deny and delete everything. This attempt at evidence tampering added another charge to her growing list of offenses. The weight of evidence proved insurmountable. Waller's eventual confession confirmed the sexual relationship with the former inmate, violating Arizona law that explicitly prohibits such conduct between corrections employees
That's insane.
and offenders under department supervision. Her actions resulted in multiple charges, including unlawful sexual conduct, conveying contraband in a juvenile facility, and tampering with physical evidence. Just as Waller's actions in Arizona highlighted the danger of personal relationships with inmates, another shocking story in Ohio revealed even more troubling misconduct. Nakisha Newell. An officer's secret relationship with an inmate leads to shocking revelations at Butler County Jail. What happens next will leave you speechless. In 2017, a story of betrayal and wrongdoing unfolded as Nakisha Newell, a corrections officer known for her seemingly unwavering dedication, harbored secrets that would ultimately shatter her career and freedom. Newell had built a reputation among her colleagues as a dedicated officer, but beneath that facade lay a growing closeness with an inmate she was supposed to supervise. What started as discreet glances soon evolved into passionate encounters within the confines of the jail. Unbeknownst to them, the surveillance cameras strategically placed throughout the facility were silently recording their secret meetings, gathering undeniable evidence against the corrupt officer. As their relationship intensified, Newell found herself taking increasingly perilous actions. She began smuggling prohibited items into the jail, a cell phone and electronic cigarettes, tools that would ultimately seal her fate. These contraband items were not just mere luxury.
I don't get it when you smuggle that in. Wouldn't the other officers know that? Where the heck do you get these? You know, like these cigarettes or these the contrabands. Like you gotta know, unless you just let it pass because everybody gets paid off or something like that. But you know what I mean? That doesn't make sense to me. So.
They posed a significant threat to security, potentially facilitating criminal activities both inside and outside the prison walls. The carefully crafted facade began to unravel when an astute corrections sergeant noticed unusual patterns in Newell's behavior. This tip-off triggered an internal investigation that would reveal the full extent of her wrongdoing. Security footage exposed multiple unauthorized interactions between Newell and the inmate, while the discovery of contraband provided concrete proof of her violations. The investigation uncovered a disturbing pattern of sexual encounters between Newell and the inmate, each incident meticulously documented through surveillance systems she had forgotten existed. Her position of authority had shifted from being a badge of honor to becoming a weapon for exploitation, betraying the trust bestowed upon her by both the institution and society. The repercussions were swift and severe. Newell's arrest sent shockwaves through the corrections community, and she was charged with 2 counts of sexual battery and illegal conveyance of communications devices. Newell's guilty plea resulted in a 2-year prison sentence, a dramatic role reversal that placed her behind the same bars she once guarded. Just as Newell's double life unraveled, another officer across the ocean found herself drawn into a web of manipulation and betrayal at HMP Berwyn. Jennifer Gavin.
Wow.
Inside HMP Berwyn, a story of vulnerability, manipulation, and broken trust unfolded. Jennifer Gavin, a 27-year-old correctional officer, found herself caught in a web of deceit that would change her life forever. Fresh from a difficult breakup, Gavin's emotional state made her vulnerable.
There you go. Fresh from a difficult breakup from her life out of prison, her work, and seeking attention from the inmates, causing her to get attracted to, pretty much get her into trouble. And I guess with this one, like almost all of them this happens to them. But anyway, let's check it out.
To the calculated advances of Alex Coxon, a 20-year-old inmate serving time for drug offenses, robbery, and attempted robbery.
Wow.
Coxon, recognizing Gavin's vulnerability, sold her dreams of a fairy tale future they could share once he completed his sentence. The relationship between officer and inmate deepened through a series of calculated moves. Coxon persuaded Gavin to accept a £150 bribe in exchange for smuggling a cell phone into the prison. This device became their primary means of communication beyond her working hours. Their digital exchanges escalated as Gavin shared explicit photos through Snapchat, crossing professional boundaries she had sworn to uphold. Their illicit relationship manifested physically when Gavin kissed Coxon during her duty hours, while she maintained some restraint by avoiding further physical contact, a decision that later influenced her sentencing. The damage to her professional integrity was irreversible. The facade crumbled during a routine cell inspection. Officers discovered Coxon's hidden cell phone beneath his laptop, revealing Gavin's compromising photos. A subsequent investigation uncovered bank statements showing payments from Coxon's family members to Gavin, creating an undeniable trail of evidence. In her defense, Gavin cited the challenging circumstances of the COVID-19 pandemic. She expressed sympathy for inmates denied visitors due to restrictions, coupled with the overwhelming responsibility of supervising more than 80 male inmates single-handedly. These pressures, combined with her emotional vulnerability, created a perfect storm that clouded her judgment. Despite her previously unblemished record and reputation as a competent officer, the law demanded accountability. The judge, while acknowledging Gavin's clean history and guilty plea, sentenced her to 8 months in prison.
Oh my God, you only get 8 months to a year to 2 years? Whew, when you're breaking that kind of law and you're supposedly upholding the law and then help rehabilitate these inmates, supposedly, you don't you rehabilitate them by banging them. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. Then you're just gonna get yourself in deep trouble, and it's gonna cause you to go inside to be a felon in a jail cell as well too, which I think they should serve a little longer than that, but I guess they have some leniency when it comes to authorities getting manipulated by the inmates and doing the dirty deed, but that's the way it goes.
Coxon received an additional 4-month sentence to run concurrently with his existing term. Tina Gonzalez. From HMP, Berwyn to Fresno County Jail.
Okay, Tina Gonzalez, okay, maybe she definitely has a look of a very attractive physically, face-wise, but I don't know what the body situation is, but either way, that becomes really deadly, especially when you're gutting inmates that are men or boys. That becomes really difficult, so very tempting.
The pattern of forbidden relationships and career-destroying choices continues with Tina Gonzalez.
Tina Gonzalez.
At 26, she became a correctional officer at Fresno County Jail, California, full of ambition and determination. Her superiors praised her dedication, her colleagues admired her work ethic, and her career in law enforcement seemed destined for success. But behind this promising mask, a scandalous secret was hidden. The year 2020 marked the beginning of Gonzalez's dramatic downfall. A charming inmate caught her attention, drawing her into conversations that grew increasingly personal. Their innocent exchanges evolved into something more forbidden. The professional boundaries blurred as Gonzalez shared intimate details about her life beyond the jail walls. Their relationship crossed an unthinkable line when Gonzalez began engaging in sexual encounters within the jail premises. She threw caution to the wind, meeting the inmate in secluded corners, seemingly unbothered by the risk to her career and freedom. In a shocking display of misconduct, she even modified her uniform, cutting a hole to facilitate intimate contact.
Oh my God.
The inmate's manipulation deepened as he convinced Gonzalez to smuggle contraband into the facility. What started with harmless items like snacks and cigarettes escalated to more dangerous contraband, cell phones, and drugs. Each successful smuggling operation emboldened them further. Their illicit affair reached new heights of brazenness when Gonzalez engaged in intimate acts with the inmate in front of 11 other inmates. This reckless behavior would later become a damning piece of evidence in her case. The house of cards came tumbling down when an anonymous tipster alerted jail administration about a male inmate possessing a cell phone and engaging in sexual relations with a correctional officer. The subsequent investigation unveiled the full extent of Gonzalez's transgressions. Faced with overwhelming evidence, Gonzalez admitted to her crimes. In June 2021, justice caught up with her. The court found her guilty of sexual misconduct with an inmate, smuggling contraband, and conspiracy to distribute prohibited items within the jail. Her sentence was 2 years and 7 months behind bars. Her story adds to the growing list of correctional officers who sacrificed their careers and freedom for forbidden relationships, leaving behind shattered dreams and tarnished reputations. Thanks for watching.
All right, so that was the cops who forgot there were cameras in the police station. So words of wisdom to all of you women out there who are desperately seeking love, but in the wrong place, especially in the work in that environment. All right, it may be tempting because you have the authority. You are a person in authority, but you get attracted to a person that's that broke the law. That's a no-no. As tempting as it may be, the guy who is tempting you to have an affair with you, who as a police officer, a correction officer, is going to get you into trouble. A guy, you can't trust those people, guys in there. They're going to talk to their minions or everybody else. They're going to say, oh, well, I'm going to have this person, I'm going to have this girl, blah, blah, blah. And next thing you know, once they get attracted and you do the deed, it's just a matter of time. People are going to find out, whether in cellmates or the crewmates out there. One of them is going to, and it's going to spread like wildfire. And that's exactly what happened. You get caught, someone ratted on you. Most of the time it's the inmates, and it's going to cost you your job, your career, and your life, and next thing you know it, you're gonna be behind bars as well too. So, words of wisdom there, ladies. When you get tempted by a bitten apple coming from the opposite sex, which is the male dominant in that area, they are going to tempt you. Think twice, because it's never going to end up well. And look what happened. You're going to end up just like them, being in a cell because you did a heinous act. That's supposed to be, you're supposed to be trusted by the law, and you're supposed to uphold the law. And for you to get tempted like that, hey, flesh is very weak, and it's true. We are flawed, we are human beings, but you have a job to do. Abide by it so you become, so you can set an example, so you can help these people out as well too. Now you're in that predicament, and you're on the other side, and now you got to get yourself out as well too. So it's a vicious cycle, and temptation is always going to be there, but hey, buckle your seatbelts, ladies, and then do the right thing. Don't get tempted. That's all I have to say. Right, thanks for watching this episode, a reaction of Cops Who Forgot There Were Cameras in the Police Station by Mix Phenomenon. Go check out his the channel. I am doing a reaction video, and I'll have more to come. Thanks for watching. I'll have more videos, commentary coming very shortly. Don't forget to hit me up on my Spotify, LinkedIn, Instagram, BombTube, and all the social medias. Bye for now. God bless, Godspeed, and we will see you in the next podcast vlog reaction. Bye for now.